Sally, everyone. She doesn't like being alone, and honestly, don't blame her. Also, check out my Quidditch jumper. Let's see how long I can actually stand to wear this thing for. Hey guys, it's Holly. So today I wanted to film a video about basically all of my Lego Harry Potter recommendations. A few people have asked me which set I prefer or would I recommend out of these two, so I thought I'd make a video about it and pretty much tell you what I would pick. What are my favorites? What do I think is the best value? And basically, what is the best Lego Harry Potter set that you can buy right now? So I went through all of the Lego Harry Potter sets that are available, and there's only one that's been retired, and that is Aragog's Lair. Everything else is still up for sale. I mean, besides the collectible minifigures series 1. But I'm not really counting them as a set. And remember, at the end of the day, it's gonna be personal preference. What sets I would want most is probably gonna be different to what sets you would want most. So this is kind of just a guideline. So starting off, we have the cheap $20 sets, and there are currently 3 available. We have the Room of Requirement, the Rise of Voldemort, and Expecto Patronum. Now, straight off the bat, the set that I would probably recommend the most for this price range is the Rise of Voldemort. You get 4 amazing exclusive minifigures, plus you also get the little baby Voldemort, and a pretty solid build and display piece for its price. However, if you really like having like a bunch of different Hogwarts uniforms and you're very focused on Hogwarts alone, rather than just like a cool set, I definitely go with the Room of Requirement. Those torso prints on those characters are incredible. The one I would probably recommend the least is Expecto Patronum, and nothing against this set. I really liked it. Although I didn't exactly rush out to pick it up. I bought it a year after release when it was on sale. All the minifigures are really cool, except only one of them is exclusive, and it's Sirius Black. And since he's in such a cheap set, it's really easy to get him off Bricklink. The only real draw for that set is the Stag Patronus, in my opinion. So definitely out of those 3, I would recommend the Rise of Voldemort the most. Next, we have our $30 to $40 price range. And in that range, we have 5 different sets: the Quidditch Match, the Night Bus, the Hungarian Hauntel, Forbidden Forest Umbridge's Encounter, and the Buildable Hedwig. Now, it's important to note that I don't own the Buildable Hedwig, and honestly, at the moment, I don't know if I ever will. Pretty much all I know about this set is that you can like flap its wings and it flies really realistically, and the rest I know about it I got from Ash and Flash's review on it. So take that for what you will. If you really like buildable figures and things like that, I think it would be a great option, as it looks like it would be a gorgeous display piece. Out of those 5 sets, I would probably have to recommend the Quidditch Match the most. And that is purely because it is the most universal across all the Harry Potter films. The thing I love most though about the Quidditch set from 2018 is that you get the 4 house buildings. Up until the 2018 wave of sets, you didn't really see much of Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff, so I'm so glad that they actually got included. You also get a really nice selection of minifigures, 4 of them being exclusive to the set, and that is all the Quidditch players. After the Quidditch Match though, I would definitely recommend the Night Bus. And just a disclaimer, a lot of that probably comes from the fact that the Night Bus is one of my favorite things from the Harry Potter universe. But as a set, fundamentally, excluding all that bias, I think it's a fantastic build. It looks really, really accurate. The fact that it's a main part of the studio tour, but also outside the streets of Diagon Alley at Universal Orlando, I think it's a pretty iconic thing to this day. If vehicles are not your style though, then I would definitely go with Umbridge's Encounter. All the minifigures in that set look amazing, and as long as you don't turn Grawp around to the back, he looks great too. The Hauntel, yeah, you could probably skip on that if you're trying to be kind of selective with your sets. So in our $60 to $70 range is where we get some of the most interesting sets of all. We have Hagrid's Hut, Privet Drive, and the Whomping Willow. And this one I think is very selective to personal choice. If you want a Hogwarts castle, then the Whomping Willow is definitely the way to go. You get 4 really nice pieces, and if you own any of the other Hogwarts castles, the Whomping Willow is so good to interconnect between them. If you do want to display it on its own though, I wouldn't recommend it. Instead, I would go with Hagrid's Hut. Hagrid's Hut alone is such an iconic building and features a lot in the films all throughout the series. The minifigures are amazing, and I love that Buckbeak mold. It looks so accurate. Privet Drive is a very close second though. The only reason that Hagrid's Hut is slightly above Privet Drive is because if you took the 2 buildings and looked at them side by side, you'd be able to tell what Hagrid's Hut is more than you would Privet Drive, because I feel like with Privet Drive you kind of have to get up close and look at all the details and the figures and all that to get an idea of what it is, especially if you're not really that big of a Harry Potter fan. But hands down, out of that price range, you can't go wrong with Hagrid's Hut. Now we're kind of going to skip over the rest of the prices and just compare the castles, because those are the sets that sell the best. In the 3 years that this series has been rebooted, we have seen 3 different iconic towers. We have the Great Hall, the Clock Tower, and the Astronomy Tower, and there should be no surprise to what my answer for this is. Get the Great Hall. You can't go wrong with that set. It's set around the first movie, which is where it all started. You get a great selection of minifigures, and the castle itself is just gorgeous. Look at it. You can only see half of it, but look at it. It's a beautiful set. Whether it's standing on its own or it's standing with a bunch of other Hogwarts castles, it stands out so much. And the clock tower and astronomy tower both look amazing, but they definitely don't have that same wow factor that the Great Hall does. It's one of the main features of Hogwarts. You look at the entire castle as a whole and it's what stands out to you most. While the tower's interior is kind of lacking, the hall itself looks really solid. Between the clock tower and the astronomy tower though, I would definitely go the astronomy tower, and that's purely because it doesn't have very specific features to a specific film. Because the clock tower, you get that entire building where it's just based around the Yule Ball and everyone dancing. You do get some really nice tables and amazing figures, but to me it kind of brings it down. So now that you know my favorite sets and what I would recommend most from each price range, what do I recommend overall? And for me, the top 3 sets would definitely be ones that are shown all throughout the series, which for me is the Great Hall, the Hogwarts Express, and Hagrid's Hut. Although I'm gonna kind of kick Hagrid's Hut out to the side and put in the Rise of Voldemort just so that there is a variety of price. If you could only buy one set, hands down, has to be the Great Hall, no questions asked. There is a reason that set is still on sale today and has kind of extended the usual typical 2 years shelf life. It's the best looking and overall has the best value of any of the Lego Harry Potter sets. After the Great Hall, I would definitely get the Hogwarts Express. Unless you have a Hogwarts Express already, you can't go wrong. And just like the Great Hall, the Hogwarts Express is such an icon. Then of course, I would recommend Hagrid's Hut the most. Just like the rest of them, it's featured so much without the series, it's iconic, you know the drill. But taking another expensive set out the way, Rise of Voldemort. Because if you bought those 3 sets, you'd have majority of the main characters. You've got the villain, you've got Dumbledore, you've got Harry, you've got Ron and Hermione. Yep, that's pretty much all you need. Also, you get a really cool looking Death Eater, so Voldemort has someone to kind of back him up in battle. Because at the end of the day, that's why he lost. He wasn't a big fan of teamwork. We're just spitting facts. Then again, that list can completely change based on what you want. If you don't like vehicles, get all the castles. If you don't like all the castles, get the Burrow, get Privet Drive, get some cool houses. There is so much on offer with so many cool minifigures that for the most part, no matter what set you get, you will be happy. And these are all really nice display pieces. So those are all of my Lego Harry Potter recommendations. Let me know what your favorite set is down below. And also let me know what your least favorite set is. Honestly, I'd probably have to say that mine's the Hungarian Horntail. Like, I don't hate it, it's just kind of underwhelming for me. But if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and consider subscribing down below. And until then, I'll see you later.